Hello, and welcome to the Keep It Local Maine podcast, where we tell the stories of local business owners, artists, and entrepreneurs, and learn more about what they do, who and what inspires them, their challenges, successes, and more. My name is Todd Regalinski.
And I am Kimberly Regalinski.
And we are the publishers of Keep It Local Maine, a magazine that helps to showcase local businesses to the people in and around their communities. Thank you for tuning in to our weekly podcast that you can subscribe to on most streaming services such as Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Google Podcasts, and others. You can learn more about us at keepitlocalmaine.com and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube through the links in the show notes. In this episode, we'll be talking with Garrett Gordon from Dump Guy Junk Removal. Garrett started his company in 2002 with friend Jason Gilpatrick after being asked multiple times to haul various items away. 20 years later, the company has grown and thrived in southern Maine with an expanding fleet of vehicles and roster of employees. And now, a quick word from our sponsor.
You are a Maine business. A Maine business. That means you're the backbone of our community and a force for good in Maine. At Gorham Savings Bank, we think you deserve a bank that sees your business as more than a balance sheet. Every Maine business deserves that kind of bank. Call, click, or come by to learn how we can help your business thrive. You're a Maine business. We're a Maine bank. Let's get to work. Gorham Savings Bank. Banking is believing. Member FDIC.
Welcome to the show, Garrett. We're so glad to have you here today.
Hey, likewise. Thanks a lot.
This is exciting. I love what you guys do, so I am excited to be able to tell people more about what you do. So tell us, you didn't originally set out to get into junk removal. So can you tell us how you got the idea to start this company?
I was mowing lawns back in like 02 and 03. And a lot of the times in the winter, especially, or just because I had a trailer, people would ask me, if I'd haul stuff away. And I didn't really think much of it. And I'd do it, but I didn't really think much of it. And at the same time, I had a pretty successful DJ business. So that was kind of my main source of income at the time. So I actually got sick of the lawn, sold the lawn business, and started, just focusing on the DJing. But I found myself, pulling my hair out during the day because I was so bored. So I, got a truck and a trailer, and I, put a few ads out for junk removal, just thinking it would be something to do, and it blew up really fast.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty much when you buy a pickup truck, it's almost like there's a signal that goes out to everyone around you. It's one of the reasons why I don't want to get a pickup truck, even though I really want one, is that then everybody's like, oh, I sense a disturbance in the force. Someone near me has a pickup truck and I've got stuff to move.
Pretty much.
Oh, yeah. They want you to move or help throw stuff away or plow their driveway or whatever you can do. Yep.
Yeah. So I didn't know about the DJ.
That is so cool.
Oh,
I had no idea.
I started in like high school, and at one point I had like 7 sets of stuff. So during like the spring and fall, especially, it would be me and 5, 6, or 6 other guys going out and DJing different high school dances in the area.
Oh, wow.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I had no idea. That is awesome.
Yeah,
so
that was like my main source of income at the time. But I started this dump guy just literally to have something to do during the week.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
From DJ to dump guy. That is not your normal.
Yeah. So I got to
path.
ask with the DJ stuff. So what was your favorite type of thing to do? Was it weddings? Was it, high school dances? What was your favorite type of events to do?
I hated the weddings. The weddings were so boring to me. The first like 2 or 3 hours you're playing cocktail music, and then you have like this real high stress scenario where you're like announcing the whole bridal party. You got to pronounce the names right while you're like playing, trying to like pick the song that they want for the introduction. Like you can't like mess anything up. So it's there's a lot of pressure at the weddings.
Yep.
Plus at that time, I was in my early and mid 20s. So like most of the people were older than me. So it was a lot more intimidating. Whereas the high school dances would be easy. You go in, you play like popular music, everyone's dancing, everyone's having a good time. And you just kind of like it was just everything. It was kind of my niche. That was like kind of what I was the best at it.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that as someone who was in a band and did some weddings, and I was an emotional wreck afterwards. Even though it paid better than a normal gig, I was always worried. Like, I don't want to be the thing that people are talking about in their 20th anniversary. Like, oh, you remember that band? Oh my gosh, that was a nightmare. Oh, I totally understand what you mean with that.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot of pressure. I mean, the high school dances had a little bit of pressure because you wanted to keep them dancing, but like it was a lot easier to keep those kids dancing than it is at a wedding. It's tough.
Yeah, definitely.
So going from DJ to dump removal, oh my gosh, I got to imagine that the dump removal is such gratification? Like it must seem like that has to feel good.
Oh, it's so much better. You're moving around. There's no like, it's during the day. There's no like, it's just fun. You know, you're exerting a lot more energy. There's no stress. It's a lot easier. Yeah.
And you're accomplishing something each day. So it's just, that's so cool.
Yeah,
Yes.
and especially the fact that if you break something, well,
okay.
it's already heading out.
Oh yeah. I mean, you get the occasional people like, having a bunch of guys now and stuff. You get the occasional thing that gets broken that's not supposed to. But for the most part, you're getting paid to break stuff.
That's amazing.
I might need to do a career change because, quite honestly,
Are you hiring Garrett?
that has always been one of my skills. Is I've been able to break things really well, either intentionally or unintentionally. So maybe I'm missing my true calling here.
Yeah, it's a good way. It's a good way to exert some to release some anger. That's for sure.
That's for sure.
So these days, recycling, reusing, upcycling, all of these are very popular terms and kind of ways to repurpose things. How much of what you haul off gets recycled?
Well, all the metal does, because we can get some salvage money for all the metal. So any metal, copper, aluminum, car batteries, wire, all that stuff gets recycled. As far as the other stuff, a lot of the transfer stations they separate any wood and cardboard that comes in there. Pretty much anything else goes to the landfill. But if we use Eco Maine, Eco Maine's in Portland. A lot of our stuff goes there. They actually burn that stuff, but when they burn it, it creates energy. So I think Eco Maine actually provides 10% of the electricity to Cumberland County.
Oh,
That's
wow.
so cool.
From burning
I
the
love that.
trash. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. So tell us, what are some of the services that you provide so that people know?
We can haul anything away that's not asbestos or won't blow up. So we can do anything from if you just had Christmas and you have a bunch of boxes of cardboard and bags, we can come pick those up. If you have one couch, we can come pick that up. If you have a parent that was a hoarder and they were 80 years old living in Lyman and they died and you need 20 guys there for 2 days to clean the whole place out, we can do that too.
Wow. Yeah, we've used you. I mean, you guys have been great. I know we've used you on multiple times, and I love that. That, even like you said, even if it's one item, if it's a couch or something like that, you want to have someone take it away, you guys can do that. So it's so cool that you provide all those services.
Yeah, and we do some light teardowns too. Like we do shed, garage, and mobile home teardowns. We haul away boats and campers and cars as well. So we do some heavy stuff. Hot tubs, boilers and oil tanks. We do all that stuff.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm imagining like the limits for the tear down sort of stuff is whatever you can do kind of by hand without having to bring in machinery.
We have two mini excavators actually. So whatever we can do with a mini excavator, like we can't tear down a big building because it would be too high for us. But we can do like a one level. We can do like mobile homes, single level homes, garages, stuff like that. We just can't do anything that's like really big and tall.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Kim. This is starting to sound more and more like something I want to do because I've always wanted to run one of those things too. This would be like so many dreams fulfilled.
This will be your next career. This will be your next career.
I might. This might be the final podcast with Kim and Todd on it. It'll just be Kim after this. Where'd Todd go? Oh, he's breaking things.
He's working for Garrett.
That is awesome, though. There's so many things that you guys can do. Now, the one thing I have to ask, because this always seems to be a sticking point in terms of like moving companies and things like that, will you haul off pianos?
Yep, we do pianos too. Yeah,
Wow.
Pianos, hot tubs, boilers, anything like that we can do. We usually get 4 guys over there for those type of projects.
I imagine, because those I mean,
things are heavy.
I just look at a piano and I'm like, I'm kind of glad that I never learned how to play piano because I don't ever want to have to deal with moving a piano. Of course, our daughter knows how to play piano, so I might end up there
One
anyways.
day there will be one in our future. For sure.
Yeah, they're definitely not a favorite amongst the crew to have to remove, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's no good way to break it down or to do anything. It's just one big gigantic hunk of metal and wood.
Yeah.
There's no way around it.
They're pretty hefty.
So, like Kim had mentioned, we've used your service a couple of times, and your crew always seemed to be very kind of easygoing, upbeat. So, how do you maintain morale in a job that is so physical? And I mean, it's tough. It's not easy work. How do you maintain that morale and that kind of teamwork?
We do a lot of joking around. There's a lot. We keep a pretty loose atmosphere around here. A lot of the guys have been here for a while, so. A lot of them get along. There's like a group chat within the company. A lot of guys, it's just a good. There's like incentives. Plus, the guys get a lot of tips out there. So I think when they're on the job site, they're obviously gonna they're going to try to have their best customer service face on to maybe, maximize their opportunity to get a tip.
Yeah.
And all those things kind of vary. They're somewhere different every day, so they're not going to get bored all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, and so much of that comes down to, to leadership and work environment.
For sure.
For jobs like that. Like, it's easier to go to a job where you're like, yeah, I enjoy the people I'm working with. I enjoy the people I'm working for. So yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what would you say, as a business owner, what is one of the most important lessons that you've kind of learned over the past few years?
You got to be patient. There's you gotta understand that, especially when you have 64 employees, there's a lot of different personalities. So what someone's reality is might not be what your reality is. What someone's goals aren't what your goals are, and you gotta kind of just take that all into account and understand, like, everyone has a different purpose to be working here. Everyone has different goals, and you just gotta, you want the guys to maximize themselves when they're here, but you got to understand that some people want to be here more than others, and you gotta just work with that. Deal with a lot of call outs and frustration. And from that, the management angle of it is the most lessons of anything, which even really has nothing to do with dump guy and trash. That's where I've learned the most lessons, from the managerial side point of it.
So more having patience and just being flexible.
Right. Like, when the first 5 years I owned this business, it was me with one truck and a guy in the passenger seat. So there's nothing to worry about. Now you got guys out there in different trucks, going different places. I mean, there's guys working here that I haven't even met, so it's, you're relying on a lot of people to represent you, and you got to learn to let some things go. You got to, some things just have to be let go, or you're gonna lose your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, how do you personally do that letting go thing? Because quite honestly, for me, in terms of business and in different leadership positions that I've been in, that has always been one of my toughest things. How do you manage that for yourself?
When it gets to the point that you're like literally getting sick over the stress about stuff, and you gotta start delegating. It's hard at first, but when you do it, it becomes easier and easier.
Yeah,
it's huge.
Yeah.
And another thing with that is that I meant to ask earlier when we were talking about services, but you're kind of very fast paced in when and how you can get to people. So I guess two questions are: from when someone calls you to when you're able to get there, how long is that? And also, how far do you guys go? Because you're based here in Scarborough.
So as far as we go, we actually go as far as like Rockingham County, New Hampshire. South, we'll go as far west as, like, say, Bridgeton. And we'll go as far north as, Waterville, Skowhegan. As far as turnaround time, in the winter when it's a little slower, we can be there, same day, next day. Spring, summer, fall, within 72 hours. The reason why we can do that is because we're running so many trucks and trailers on the road and have so many guys out there. It just gives us opportunity to, we can turn a lot of work over pretty quick.
Wow.
And that's huge too, because a lot of times when I know for us, the couple times that we've called, it's been, we need to have this done. Like, we should have done it last week. So let's give a call and see when they can be here. And it's been like, this is such a lifesaver that very quickly y'all have been able to be there. So that's been
fantastic.
That is great that you can work that quick.
Oh yeah, and it's I mean, you got to understand too. It's not like we're like a painting company that it's going to take 2 weeks to paint your house. We can be in and out of there in an hour or two. So we can do so many more projects just because our line of work doesn't take as long as a lot of other line of work.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to the growth piece. So you started this company in what year was it when you started?
2004.
2004. Okay.
Yeah, in the fall.
So you started 2004 in the fall. You were one guy.
Yep.
With a truck. And then, so how did the growth to where we are today, what did that picture look like? Can you give us a picture of kind of how you've gotten to be to 64 employees now?
What's funny is the biggest growth happened because of the recession and the housing crash. Because it was one truck right through the end of 2008. I probably should have had two trucks in 2008, but I was working some long days. Like, we're talking like 5 a.m, getting home at 8 p.m. type days. But it was in 2009, we started picking up a lot of foreclosures. And what happened is the residential side of the business started to dwindle a little bit because nobody had any money. And we started doing a ton of these foreclosure cleanouts, which forced me to buy more trucks and hire more guys. And the revenue that was coming in from those foreclosures, because the residential side was dwindling a little bit, and there was actually some more competition at the time because a lot of building contractors were doing junk removal because they weren't building houses. A lot of other contractors were like looking for other things to do because they weren't making any money. So the money from all the foreclosures, I was just dumping into advertising for the residential side, which as the economy started picking back up, I started seeing like major results from that advertising. And before you knew it, coming out of the housing crisis, I started with 1 truck and I ended with 6. And then from there, just compounding those repeat customers and word of mouth and doing more and more advertising over the years is what propelled it to keep growing and growing.
That's fantastic.
Do you kind of have a metric of when you decide, okay, I need to add another truck or another 2 trucks or hire so many people, or is it kind of a feel?
At this point, we usually add about 3 every winter. Now, that's not really adding 3 routes because some of those trucks are just replacing old ones.
Yeah.
But by consistently adding 1 to 2 trucks and trailers to the fleet every year, we're able to keep up with the demand.
Huh.
That's great.
And it's been that way the last like 3 or 4 years. So it's a pretty steady. There was like a big boomer after the housing crisis, and like in 2015 there was like a pretty big spike. But since then, it's been a pretty steady increase.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you look around at the storage industry and everything else, I mean, if there's one thing that we know is that people have lots and lots and lots of stuff. So there's always a need to store it, to get rid of it, to move it, and all that stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So in all of that, this is a question that I'm going to selfishly say I'm just really curious about this because I love these sort of stories. What are some of the strangest items that you've been called to remove?
When you first started this out, so what were some of the items? Like someone called you to move a boat.
We do boats. Yeah, we haul away boats. You know, there's nothing like this. There's nothing that I've ever like hauled away that I've been like, wow, we see so much stuff. So there's nothing that like really like stands out to me. Like, oh my God, I can't believe I just hauled this away. Just because you just see so much. After the first 2 years of doing this, to be honest with you, I don't even look at what I'm hauling away, but except for like the raw material of it, because it's my main focus at the time was just to get the job done and get to the next job, not to like repurpose it or take in what I was doing. That's why it would be a better question for my guys, because when the guys first start out, they all start doing that, and then after 6 months, they're the same. They just stop caring about what they're on because you see the same stuff you see so much over and over every day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
now,
that is true. Yeah, I can see that.
And I think you might have said this too. So, I mean, there's so many things that you remove. So what about even like job sites? You said you do commercial job sites. So from like builders and things like that, if someone's building a home and they've got, all this extra stuff, you guys will actually go and remove that stuff as well?
Oh yeah, we do a lot and a lot of contractors will get a dumpster because they're going to need that dumpster to be on site for, 60 to 90 days, which would make sense. But there's some contractors, like the ones in downtown Portland, they have to use us a lot because they can't get a dumpster in there. So they'll call us two or three times a week to come clean up the mess, from their demo. Or there's some contractors that they can get a dumpster in there, but because the stuff's on the 6th floor, they don't want to deal with it. So they call us, and we're lugging construction debris down an elevator.
Wow.
So we can do that stuff too. We do a lot of that.
I hadn't even thought about that, but yeah, there's like if you're doing something in downtown Portland,
right?
There's nowhere you're going to put a dumpster.
Right.
Right. So a lot of contractors in downtown Portland do use us, and even the ones that can get a dumpster, like I said, they don't want to be paying their guys that are professional contractors to be lugging demo debris down 6 flights of stairs or down an elevator.
Oh yeah,
Right,
definitely. Yeah,
makes total sense.
Yeah.
So we always like to ask this, and just we're really curious about how do you define success? Because everyone defines success differently. And I know that can change over time too. So as of, this moment, how would you say you define success?
Being able to have a business that's, serving a purpose, it's serving a need. People are happy to, have a service be there, and to be able to have a group of employees that not only are working for the company, but you're able, because of this business, are able to have a life that they want to have as well. I'd say that's my definition at this point. It wouldn't have been my definition when I first started out, but it is now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great.
Well, I mean, at first you were just looking for something to do.
Exactly. I was looking for something to do. Then it became trying to make money. Then it became trying to, everything. As you get older, what you want from it becomes different.
Yeah, and I mean, I was kind of joking around about being able to, get the satisfaction out of that, but the satisfaction from doing something for people and like you're saying, servicing a need and providing a service that people they're looking for and that is going to help them. That is huge. And that is a huge part of that gratification, I would imagine.
It does feel good when you're at like a job site and like someone's like has to be out of their house like that weekend and like they think they're just absolutely screwed and you can come in that day and bail them out. You can tell how happy they are about everything.
Yeah, yeah, it's got to be such a load off for people, both mentally and just physically, for all this stuff to be gone. I know that when we moved recently, seeing empty rooms was such a beautiful thing. I've never been so happy to see an empty room, an empty garage. It was fantastic to get to that point.
For sure.
So another question that we always like to ask is about inspiration, because I think that everybody needs to be inspired by something or someone to do what they're doing and to keep showing up each day. So who or what inspires you?
What inspires me to do this each and every day? To continue to grow the business and set the company up for, technically, a future generation to, down the road to take it over and, be able to see this company grow and grow over the years. I guess that would be the biggest motivation for me each day.
To leave a legacy.
Yeah. So eventually, be able to retire and have someone take it over and be able to take it from there.
Yeah, and it's also a good feeling when you are able to look at, all the people that you have as employees, and like you said, to help them have the life that they want and to put food on their table. That's got to be a good feeling as well.
I have a lot of employees that have bought their own houses in the last couple of years, and it makes me feel good to see that.
Yeah. I mean, I can imagine waking up every day knowing that you get to be part of that you're kind of living part of this purpose to be able to help and have that ripple effect of what you've created and all that hard work to sit back and see that's got to be gratifying.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
Well, Garrett, thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy day to talk with us and share your story and just the success you've had and the growth that you've had in your business. I will be sure to put a link to your website and also a phone number where folks can get a hold of you. And once again, just thank you so much for talking with us. So much. And we wish you continued success.
Yes, awesome. Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. And your Keep It Local magazine's been a part of the growth of this company the last 3 or 4 years as well. So I appreciate that.
Yay! Thank you.
Yep.
It has been
thank
our
you so
pleasure.
Much. It has been our pleasure for sure.
Definitely.
Once again, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Gorham Savings Bank, and encourage you to check them out through the link in the show notes. And thank you again for listening.